Hi, this is Rob and Ali sharing with you our passion of all things cruise and travel.
This is day 7 of our Japan cruise. I say day 7 because I'm an optimist. Other people might call it end of holiday day or disembarkation day.
Disembarkation day, boo! So we are no longer in Japan, we are now in Taiwan. We are at Keelung Cruise Harbour. We have disembarked and our flight doesn't go until 6 o'clock this evening. So we have the day to kind of do a few things here in Keelung. It's very busy, as you can hear.
Yeah, the disembarkation process was fairly straightforward, but what they're a bit later than we usually have. Disembarkation was up to 10:30, so we picked 10:30 in order that we could have like a nice leisurely breakfast and enjoy the last couple of hours on the ship. They closed the breakfast early, which is fair enough. The buffet closed at 10 and the restaurant closed at 8. But what made it strange was the fact that this cruise is going off on another cruise, as they always do, and some people got on yesterday. So for the people that got on yesterday, on their first day, the dining room would have closed at 8 o'clock this morning and the buffet at 10, which is it's probably we thought 8:30 for the dining room. Sorry, closing normally was just a little bit early, but. We managed to make it anyway. So we enjoyed the ship. We were pretty much the last person off the ship by the time we'd sorted out the account, and then we are now in Keelung.
We've deposited our bags at the station in the locker, in kind of the storage lockers there. We have a separate video of how to do that. That gives us our hands free to go and do a little bit of shopping and maybe grab some authentic lunch. We thought we would try out some of the food, some of the street food, which has been highly recommended to us. We might pick up some little dainty dishes along the way from separate places.
Yeah, far better and cheaper than sitting at the airport and buying food from the airport. For our long journey home, we're flying home on Singapore Airlines, so we fly from Taipei to Singapore. A couple of hours in Singapore and then Singapore back to Brisbane. It's a 14.5-hour journey in total. We get back at 10:30 on Sunday morning, which gives us a little bit of time to sort of settle in before going back to work on Monday. Okay, so we're off to find some shops and grab something to eat. We've got about a couple of hours or so before we need to head off to the airport. So we want to make the most of our last few hours in Keelung.
Glasses on.
Yeah, it's a bright day. That's why I've got my sunglasses on. But I did pack my cap, unfortunately, so I've got no cap, so I have to stay out the sun. If you find yourself confused as to how to use the crossings here in Keelung, in Taiwan, here's some instructions. Beautifully animated with, I think they're like little robot-y type things on scooters, and duckies. I love this little walking man on the crossings, leaning forward, man with a mission.
We've shown you quite a bit of footage of all the little mopeds that they have here around Keelung. But what we passed yesterday when we were in the taxi was a shop that it had the helmets, but it was like a shoe shop or a handbag shop. So all the helmets were out on display on different racks, all different colors with all different designs on. Something you just don't see back in Australia. It was fascinating. We went too fast for us to take a picture, but yeah, it was hilarious.
There are a few things that make me laugh, and this is another one of them. It's where the mopeds and scooters all line up at the front of the traffic lights, and then it changes. And it's like a motor scooter Grand Prix when that light changes, and they're off and they go down the road. Here we go. Pinkies Pinks was in the lead, now got taken. Now, I have to say this is probably the least pretty street that we've been down. There's that annoying pinging music, and it's actually got a bit of a stench down here as well. Yeah.
So this is heading towards the Keelung night market. This is now starting to get a little bit not nice. It's kind of smelly, there's rubbish everywhere. I wouldn't be eating from any of the places here, let's put it that way. Although this is daytime, we have now made it to the night markets. And as you can see, they are just as busy in the day as what they are in the night time. I'm pretty glad we've come in the day because you can actually see. You can see what the place is like and whether or not you would want to eat here, I don't know. Actually, the stuff does look delicious. I think maybe we're being a bit...
No idea what it is, but it smells delicious as well,
They
actually.
have little pictures. So this one says it's squid, others have little pictures of...
This one here.
Yeah, so they've got little pictures
yeah.
of squid there and things. And of course, there's always Google Translate. Toffee apples. They are tomatoes and vegetables. Oh, look, that's seafood. They've got cockles. Oh, wow.
So Al's back to her new pastime of taking pictures of food. I don't think she can be quite as artistic with these though because of the number of people. It's just a point and shoot.
In the Keelung night market, the streets are lined with food food sellers, people eating the food on little stools around where they're cooking it hot and frying it hot. But behind every single one of them in the shops are, you know, the little grab-it machines?
Some people put ducks in them, I believe.
Whole arcades just full of those. Every single one of them. I can't believe it. I can't believe that is such a big activity. It must be very inexpensive. Should we have a look? It's extraordinary. So not only do you have Pikachus and what looks like Mario elephants. Is that a Mario elephant or do my eyes deceive me?
It is.
But they
I'm not
also...
sure whether that is a Mario character or not.
How can you have a grab-it that's for fabric conditioner? It is, it's bold fabric conditioner with a little grab-it.
So these are 10 new Taiwan dollars, which is about 60 Australian cents. Oh, did you let go of it? Oh, you must have to move a little bit quicker then. As soon as it's grabbed it.
Just drops it straight away. How does that work then?
I don't know. No Mario for us today.
It's rubbish. That's terrible.
You don't get very long before it releases, which explains why it's only $10 or 60 Australian cents per go, because they couldn't make a profit of that if people were winning prizes every time. We're back at the lockers now and Al is retrieving. She puts the secret code in and locker 22 pops open. And here's our bag. Nice and safe.
Leaving this place, the sun's about to break. You're riding shotgun. The feeling we chase, I'm wide awake. Take me away now. 'Cause I won't go down the same old path again now. No, I've been running out of air, so let me catch my breath. Feeling it's making me crazy.
That was a very smooth taxi ride from Keelung to Taipei.
It was a bit longer though
Airport.
than we anticipated, a bit longer than we'd researched.
It was a very long
It's an hour,
journey, but
yeah.
but there were no hold-ups or anything. It was a very smooth ride, but it still took us.
I would allow at least an hour if you're coming from Keelung to Taipei International.
And I started having visions of having to jump out and start exchanging US dollars or Australian dollars into Taiwanese to pay him. Anyway, it's on a meter and it was cheaper than what had been recommended on the internet.
Well, I looked it up on Uber and the Uber cost was around about 90 Australian dollars.
So we've got a few queues here to check in to Singapore Airlines, but it's very, very calm and air conditioned after the hustle and bustle
Air conditioning is
of
beautiful.
Keelung. We have just checked our bags in, they were weighed, they were taken off onto the little conveyor belt behind. What the check-in lady said was that everybody has to wait to see whether or not their bags have gone through the security machine. So this is your big bags that are checked in that we won't see now until Brisbane.
I can see them right now though. Ours are over here, just these two black ones.
Now normally you don't get to see this bit. You check in, your bags disappear down a chute somewhere and you don't see them until you get off the plane. But they're asking you to wait and see them actually go through. Of course, as soon as we came here, everything stopped.
Yeah,
Just our
I think
luck.
they've taken a break because our bags they've come out of the scanner, but I don't know whether they've cleared or not. So
we've no idea. The conveyor's just gone on stop. Everybody's queued up. He's been on the phone. There's been no explanation, and that's it. The conveyor's just stopped. So nobody's moving. It's been about 10 minutes.
Well, this backs up all the way to the checkups as well because the conveyor belt's backed up at the back. It can't take them off the individual checkouts. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I'm sure it'll be fine. When you come through the security at Taipei Airport, you come into this area here. There are two gates down to this end, A and D, and then two gates on the other end, B and C. Then there's an upstairs food court area. There are probably maybe a dozen food outlets in here. There is a McDonald's, there is a Mosburger, there is a Starbucks, and the rest of them are really sort of like Asian style foods, rices and soups and chicken. And there are the lounges up here, so Crystal Air Lounge, Eva Air Lounge, China Air Lounge. All the lounges are upstairs here. Downstairs is a currency exchange, and there's also some shops, but they are sort of higher end shops like Louis Vuitton. So it's not a massive airport, it's quite small, although it doesn't feel crowded, even though there are quite a few planes that seem to be taking off and seem to be landing. Yeah, it's a pleasant enough place. The prices are what you'd expect at airport prices.
We are flying home on Singapore Airlines. This is the first of two legs. This one is from Keelung to Singapore. Time to sit back and enjoy the movies.
That was a great flight. Thank you, Singapore Airlines. We got to Singapore on time. We landed at Terminal 2 and now our next flight goes from Terminal 3. We've got about an hour and 15 minutes before it boards. So we've got to get this Sky train, which goes from Terminal 2 to Terminal 3. It's a little railway that they've got at Singapore. People who want to transfer between, or need to transfer between terminals. So we'll hop on there, go over to Terminal 3, and maybe might have time to look around a couple of the shops. Okay, that took just a few minutes. It was icy cold in there. The air conditioning was certainly working. So we're now at Terminal 3. We'll find a board and check in, see what gate we are going from. So our flight is SQ255, there we go, leaving 12:45, so 1:45 in the morning. Terminal 3, gate A13. Changi is such a big airport. Look at this hall here. This area that we've just come into. It is massive.
The area here, it's actually nearly as big as the cabin we've just left. You know,
Yes.
the one where I could do cartwheels in.
That was an amazing cabin, absolutely superb cabin. I think we've been spoilt now. We'll need a cabin that size on every cruise.
Yes.
I think our next cruise is actually on an inside cabin on the Pacific Encounter. So yeah, that'll be a bit of a shock. It's a good job we've been in one before, so we know what to expect. A quick coffee stop whilst we're on our way to the departure gate.
Another great flight on Singapore Airlines for our second leg from Taipei to Brisbane.
And just like that, we are back home in Brisbane.
Refreshed.
Yeah, an overnight flight is always taxing, but we did get a couple of hours, or I got a couple of hours sleep anyway, so unfortunately we were at the back of the plane, so when it came to breakfast it was whatever they had left. We are, however, about half an hour earlier than scheduled, so that's a bit of a bonus.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful day here in Brisbane as we've arrived.
Well, it is, but he did say it was 16 degrees about half an hour ago, which is, yeah, a little bit chilly. We're back through customs and clearance now. That was extremely easy. These e-passports with the little tag thing on, you scan your eyes, you present your passport, you get a little ticket, and basically you then just go straight through. You just present it wherever you need to. So we were through
the whole thing
very
was
quick.
Very efficient, including picking up our bags.
Very efficient.
And actually, I'd have to say that wasn't, we had a direct flight on the way out, which was really good. And then we had a stopover on the way back to Singapore. And the whole thing has been really effortless. I would say it hasn't been a hassle at all. And the stopover in Singapore was a couple of hours, just enough time to grab something to eat or drink and do a little bit of shopping.
And you've got to transfer between the terminals, so that took a little bit of time as well, getting the SkyTrain.
So although we're normally very fortunate and we pick up our cruise ship on one of the Australian ports, flying off somewhere that would not deter me at all from going further afield in the future.
No, and we'll be having a look to see what else we can do. Maybe there's another MSC.
Already have. In the taxi to the airport, I was already MSC last minute deals. I was pushing it in.
Well, we'll have a look. She'll tell me about it on the way home. We've got about 30 minutes or so home now, but we're going to wrap this one up here. If you've liked this video, if you like the whole series, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and hit the notification button if you want to see more. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.